So you could be having espressos with George Clooney on Lake Como, or you could be chewing over the gristle of Scottish football. It's a hard choice. Our dear pal Michael Gannon is doing the former, but we wouldn't want to be anywhere else, would we? So I'm joined today by Ryan McDonlad, back again. We didn't scare you so much the first time, did we? You're back for more?
No, I'm back for more. Obviously, it's pouring rain, Lake Como, so I'd rather be in sunny Glasgow anyway.
Of course, exactly. We can cover all the big issues here.
Exactly.
So this is Game On. It's a rapid-fire format, and we address all the big issues in Scottish football. So we won't waste much more time there. I think we'll get started. It's been a busy week, so here we go. And straight away, it's over to Ibrox. Rangers, it's a new era. Russell Martin. And it's officially underway now. Is it good vibes only, or is there some concerns for Russell Martin ahead of Athens next week? They're 2-0 up against Panathinaikos after the first leg.
I don't know about you, Graeme. I think it was a dream start for Russell Martin, really, when you consider the resources he's got at his disposal at the minute. He's still working hard to bring in new faces. If you ask Rangers fans this time last year if Danilo would be starting up front in a Champions League qualifier, I think it would have kind of gave them the fear. But the Rangers get through it, and it was a good win. Obviously, it was a bit of a shaky first half, to say the least. But the new Finley Curtis obviously came alive in the second half. Really made his mark. He looks an exciting talent. Yeah, he might have had some nerves in the first half, but that's a real kind of statement that he's made early on in his Rangers career. And you've got Gassama as well, who came off the bench and made an instant impact with a beauty of a goal. And then Jack Butland as well, who we might talk about later on, was outstanding between the sticks. So I think you need to look at the positives rather than the negatives, especially considering it's Russell Martin's first game and Rangers are still going through a massive rebuild at the minute. To come through that, with a 2-goal lead going over to Athens, I think Rangers are in a strong position. It's a great start.
So I was equally impressed. I felt that it was bold, wasn't it? We're talking about new ways of playing, having both your fullbacks inverting to sit as defensive midfield at the same time. I know Max Aarons had probably more of a challenge because right-footed on the left side, but I thought he's pretty game, played well. But there is a worry. There was a point made during the game where it was said that this was Russell Martin's first ever game in Europe as a player on manager, and Athens is pretty serious stuff, isn't it? It's an old school tough place to go. Panathinaikos in defence were very good, and the player that gets sent off is probably the best of their options. There was a lot to like, but you know what it's like. This is so cliche, but how many times it's the first goal and try to keep it tight early. But Russell Martin doesn't seem to subscribe to these type of old school rules, does he? The way he plays, it's his own way. It's swashbuckling stuff. I just hope the Rangers are streetwise enough when they go over there, or it could be more of a chance. But there's plenty to like, isn't it? If you're a Rangers fan going to games and if Philippe Clement wasn't for you, then the excitement of the other night probably gives you something pretty fresh. So we'll stay on Rangers for now. It's obviously a busy summer for them as well. They're trying to put a team out for the here and now and also sign players. And he's obviously been as bold as advertised, Russell Martin. But where is he going to strengthen next? There's talk of big name arrivals. Where do you think? What would you do if you had to sign one player tomorrow for Rangers ready for the first day of the season? What would you, first Premiership game of the season, where would you upgrade?
I think they definitely need a left back. I mean, obviously Max Aarons played in left back and he's traditionally a right-footed, a right-sided full back. So I know James Tavernier's got a spot at the minute, but I think
what about Hefty?
Yeah, I know. I mean, he was like with
Chelsea.
He was like with Chelsea in January for £12-15 million. Don't know where that came from. He's certainly not to that standard. Ridvan, I think his time's been and gone. I think he's had his chance. He's just never going to make it at Rangers. He's too injury prone. I think when he is fit, he's a decent player, but he's just far too injury prone, and Rangers need to clear the decks and have players that they can rely upon week in, week out. They need robust players, and Ridvan, unfortunately, is not that. I can see him going back to Turkey. So I think at left back has got to be a priority. I think they're obviously looking at strengthening the attacking areas as well.
£10 million wingers?
£10 million wingers, yeah.
That's a statement of intent, isn't it, for the 49ers?
Yeah, it would be. Obviously, there's a bit, whether it be a loan deal with an obligation to buy, or
this is Raksaki at Crystal Palace.
Yeah, whether it be an obligation to buy or just a straight out loan deal. It's kind of clouding a bit of uncertainty at the minute, but yeah, I mean that would be it looks like a real talented boy. Speaking to some Crystal Palace fans as well, they say that they'd be disappointed to lose him. So, yeah, I mean that would be an area for Rangers to strengthen, but I also think they need a striker. I think Igamani's probably going to have to will probably leave for big money. They could fund that more signings coming in. You can't rely on Danilo. And Cyril Dessers is always going to split opinion. He's Jekyll and Hyde at the best of times, but he's still got a great scoring record. So if he was to go,
he's an option probably to start in Athens next week
definitely.
as well.
But if he's to go, you need to remember, Graeme, that's 24 goals, 25 goals out your team. So you need to find that you need to replace him. So I think definitely left back and attacking areas for Rangers to strengthen without a shadow of a doubt.
I'm going to be a bit controversial here, hopefully for the last time today, but it's Jack Butland. Was brilliant the other night, excellent goal. But I do feel straight away, you could see it straight away. Yeah. Rangers need a sweeper keeper. That opens it up. It makes it a different team. It just seems like an option that just the way they want to move the ball out defence. I think a player comfortable in the ball, and that's the type of keeper they've been profiled with this summer. Jack Butland, an important player, brilliant the other night. Will need to be very good in Athens as well. But it just feels that is the place for it, and it's not on him, it's just a different style. It's a different position they're looking for, isn't it, between the sticks?
My Tupman's worth is he's going to be number one this season.
Okay, we'll wait and see what happens. So across the city, over in Como, our friend Michael Gannon, who are telling you, headed back to Mr. Clooney's house. We're not 100%. We got a photo, but we don't know if it's AI or not. They were having a wee party last night. But Brendan Rodgers is craving transfer ambition for Celtic Chiefs. He's been kind of flirting around the edges of what Celtic need, but last night was pretty strong in his wording. Will he get it, and what happens if he doesn't get it?
Well, everyone's talking about it's 5 weeks to go until transfer deadline day, but Celtic have actually, I think the deadline for Celtic to get transfers in should be Thursday, August the 14th, because that's when they need to register the Champions League squad. And I think
for the playoffs.
Yeah. So I think that's less than 3 weeks away. So there's a matter of urgency now to get signings in. I know, right, Celtic like to leave it late in the transfer window to bring in their big money signings, and yes, that could rely upon depend upon whether they qualify for the Champions League. But you've got James Forrest, you've got Daizen Maeda, and then you get Yang and Marco Tilo in the wide areas. Is that really going to get you through to the Champions League group stages? I'm not so sure. Big Adam Media up front. I know Yamada's come in, but I think you saw last night against Ajax the difference in quality, especially in attacking areas. I think Celtic seriously need to strengthen up top, and I think they could do it for another midfielder as well. I know they've got a luxury of options in the middle of the park, but I still think there's room for that.
What type of midfielder?
I think I've said this for years, but it just feels like they need a number 6, a Victor Wanyama type of powerhouse in the middle of the park. I know where would Callum McGregor fit in that? I think there's always going to be a place for Callum McGregor. I know he traditionally likes to drop in between the defenders, but I think I just feel as if they need a bit of muscle and power in that midfield, especially when it comes to playing against Europe's elite.
Yep, and I think Nygren playing more attack midfield's caught people by surprise as well. I think the assumption was maybe playing the right wing where he did previously last season.
He looks steel, doesn't he?
Oh, he's a proper player. That's the thing with Celtic as well, that even the first half against Ajax, they were on it. They looked pretty strong, but you can understand this is serious now.
Yeah.
But I don't understand is if you watch Celtic in Munich take Bayern all the way, you would be moving heaven and earth then to get ahead of the game for transfers. Because it's obvious that this team is on the cusp of it's a level up. Brendan Rodgers has been able to take them up a level last season in the Champions League. I don't think with the amount of money in the bank and everything that comes with it, I don't think you could overdo it. How much that they needed, they're proper players, I think. And there's this theory that maybe Engels needed the price tags, maybe added a hesitance to going big again, but I think it's the opposite. I think you double down and triple down, you go again, because that's where you are as a club. I think it's important. So if the second half was leaving Celtic fans a little bit sad last night, then there's something else, and this is a longer running issue. Roma have launched their new away kit, and it's Celtic fans are up in arms, and they ask, how could that be? It looks like the template identikit Celtic away strip, doesn't it? And it's Adidas as well, and they've got the logo that Celtic are desperate for. I think Celtic being in elite club status has been part of it. Have Celtic in their deal so far with Adidas, have they been sold short?
Well, I think Celtic jerseys have been flying off the shelves. I think if you look at the amount of merchandise that's been sold by Adidas over the last 5 years, I think Celtic are one of the top clubs. So, yeah, they might not be everyone's cup of tea, but they're certainly, they're selling. I know certainly the third kit has divided opinion this year, along with the other merchandise that's come out. But see, to be honest, I take this view that maybe it's my age, I don't know, maybe it's showing old age, but as long as Celtic are winning trophies in the park, I mean, the fans shouldn't really be too concerned. Although what I will say is, for £75, £100 for a jersey now, it's scandalous these days, especially if you get kids in a family.
I think it's the colours as well, isn't it? Like the Celtic strips, they're always so bold. They're never really subtle. I think that was the thing with Roma. Like,
it's a beauty.
Exactly.
It's a crack
but
top, yeah.
I don't ever remember Celtic having a strip like that. They're always quite garish. There's a lot of colour. Why is that? Is that club call, or Adidas think that's what Celtic fans want? Or there's never this. But there's definitely, I think Adidas was a holy grail of kit manufacturer. Let's be honest. When Celtic signed the deal, the strips have just been a bit. I think there's been a few that have been beloved, but not all, and I don't think that's the way they probably imagined it going.
For all Celtic fans wanted Adidas and to be their kit suppliers, I mean, I thought New Balance came out with some crackers.
Exactly. Another part as well is, I know there was a big bugbear in recent days, is the fact that the amount of the commercial side of it, the team kits and all the extra training wear that comes with it as well. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of outlay for people. I think the marquee strips, and there's now 3. Back in the day there used to be 2. Used to be every second season, now it's 1. I think fans are just looking for a wee bit more. And
you even get pre-match kits, which is
exactly.
I mean, that's coming in at 60-70 quid as well. It's absolutely ridiculous, but that's the
no, there definitely is. But as you say, we're probably the wrong. I think we're getting to that age now where football kits are off there. Exactly. So we'll move on swiftly there. So now we've watched. There's 5 teams in Europe. Celtic and Aberdeen are still to appear, but we've watched 3 teams now. Rangers, Hibs last night, a great draw away in Denmark against Midtjylland, which is easier to say than spell. Any journalist will know that. And Dundee United, a 1-0 win against Luxembourg's Una Strassen. And Luxembourg, by general, teams have improved in recent years in Europe, so a 1-0 isn't to be sniffed at either. So Dundee United 1-0 up, Hibs 1 each going back to Easter Road, and Rangers 2-0 up going to Athens. How many of the 3 will make it through the next round?
Well, forget the Fantastic Four, it's about the Fantastic Five, isn't it? Celtic are already guaranteed European group stage football, so are Aberdeen. If Rangers get through this phase and reach the 3rd round qualifier, then they're also guaranteed European group stage football. So that's 3. I really fancy Hibs' chances, I really do. I know Midtjylland it'll be a tough test coming back to Easter Road, but it's going to be a sellout crowd. I think the last night was. It really showed how far Hibs have come under David Gray from this time last year. I thought they were excellent.
Catchy wee song, that away song as well.
Yeah,
you heard
yeah, it's a cracker. I saw it in the round last night.
I thought you were going to do that. Get mixed up.
I thought Kieran Bowie looked promising again last night. Jamie McGrath obviously scoring in his debut. And it's a really tough venue to go to. Midtjylland they've been competing in the Champions League and Europa League over the last few years. They might not be the force they once were, but yeah, I mean they're a quality outfit. So it was a great result for Hibs. It was a shame they couldn't hold out to get the win in the end, but. It's all to play for in the next week at Easter Road, and then Dundee United as well. 1-0. It was a great crowd. I think 11,000 fans were there last night. 1-0 win. You'd probably expect them to. You'd expect them to.
A lot of new players as well. It's a new. Yeah. It looks, the strips looks new as well.
I think 7 new players have started. 9 in total were on the pitch. One thing that concerns me a wee bit is the fact that there was no Scottish players in the lineup for the first time, I think, in Dundee United's history in European competition. That was a great shame.
I agree. I think the one thing I would say, mitigating, Jim Goodwin was a coach, very good, but very good, seems to get an eye for players around Europe. That maybe you just roll the dice. If you feel there is those players of value right now, which maybe there is, hopefully evens itself out. They've always had a great academy.
I just think it's important for every Scottish team to have a Scottish identity in their team. It might have been a one-off. I know it's a complete overhaul at Dundee United this season again, but yeah, it did disappoint.
How many will make it throughout the 3 teams?
Oh, the whistle's gone, and I'm going to say 3.
I'll say 3 as well. I think Hibs need to box cover. Just sit back, let Midtjylland come on to them. They'll be better that way, in my opinion. But it should be. I think Rangers probably will have a few moments to worry about in Athens, but it should be good enough, especially in the counter-attack in the second half. So we've obviously moved on. We've covered football there. Now we're going to move on to boxing. One of the biggest stories of the week, arguably the best Scottish boxer since Kay Buchanan, maybe even ever, just with the achievements he's had, is Josh Taylor, deserving a place in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Now remember, it's a limited entry list every year. Does he deserve for his achievements?
I've got a list of facts here. I'm looking at it. He's the only male boxer in the UK to capture all 4 belts in a single division, which I don't know about you, Graeme, but I think that's Hall of Famer itself. He's only 5th in history alongside Usyk. He's achieved obviously undisputed status in just 18 professional fights, which is absolutely incredible. I know that Eddie Hearn once described him, I think, as one of all-time greats. But for me, he's probably not received the recognition that he deserves.
Yeah.
Whether that's down to his promoters or whether it's maybe because he's Scottish, I don't know. Obviously, he won gold and silver at the Commonwealth Games. It's been a difficult few years for him. Obviously, he lost his last 3 fights, but he's still had an absolutely incredible career. And for me, he's a generational talent as well. So, for me, he'll undoubtedly go down as one of the greatest Scottish boxers of all time. And a fun fact for you as well is the fact that my grand's cousin was the one and only Benny Lynch.
Oh, there you go, Benny Lynch. Now, that is a proper boxing legend.
Yeah.
So Josh Taylor, I do agree with you. I think his case is pretty strong because, like a lot of these amateurs that have turned over, Usyk's teammate Vasyl Lomachenko, who's arguably the greatest amateur boxer ever, him and Taylor turned over pretty close time and both just raced towards the fire. Like, there was no warm-up, and that's what Taylor's for the first few years. I think you'll see Mexican style. What's Mexican? Like a proper inside fighter that can work really close quarters. He was as good as anyone. Shane McGuigan, they were just a perfect pair. For in that run towards the world title, you're as good as advertised. But it just as quick as he was able to rise, the fall was as severe.
Yeah.
Jack Catterall in the first fight won it. It's 4 defeats in a row in reality. It really is. And then he was never able, and obviously the Teofimo Lopez fight between the two Catterall fights. But the high was pretty high and able to unify the division quickly. I think just for that marquee achievement, he deserves to get in. In an ideal world, his career would have been longer. And I think the highest compliment I could pay, I think head-to-head in boxing, Ricky Hatton is probably the marquee £140, and maybe Amir Khan, but I think Josh Taylor could have beat Amir Khan and Ricky Hatton in their primes. I think it'd have been a really tough fight for Ricky Hatton, and I think that's as high a compliment as you can pay someone who's a brilliant fighter. It's a shame to see him go so. His career end in the way it did so abruptly. But
quick question, Graeme, where does he rank in the all-time Scottish boxers?
Probably 2. I think just what I've heard about Ken Buchanan, I still have to just put him behind Ken Buchanan. But he's an amazing fighter. So back to football, and someone who's maybe not boxing clever in the eyes of Dundee fans right now. Stephen Presley. Is it time to worry already about what's going on with Stephen Presley at Dundee?
Early results suggest so, and he's obviously he's not exactly flavour of the month with Dundee fans. I don't think he was a popular appointment. He never was going to be a popular appointment. I still can't believe they sacked Tony Docherty. I had the pleasure of interviewing Tony Dock over the summer, and he was frank about the situation. He was disappointed that he lost his job. I think it came as a surprise to him just as much as it did to everybody else. But I think Dundee are going to. It's going to be a real slog this year. I think they're going to be the early favourites to go down.
Ahead of Livingston?
I think so. I think they're going to finish 12th this season. And yeah, it's especially just the mood around the place as well. I don't think that helps. The Dundee fans are going to. I think it's going to be a massive month ahead, opening month for Stephen Presley. You really need to get off to a good start. Obviously, it's been a bit of a disaster in the League Cup. And yeah, I think Dundee fans are going to judge him early over the course of August, really. And if Dundee find themselves bottom of the table or languishing towards the bottom 3, then I think you could be in trouble.
I'll just put out there, I've got a soft spot for Stephen Presley. I do like him.
I like him as well. He's a great guy. He really is. He's
so
great in the media as well, and
he's
a fantastic guy. And I really want him to do well. I really do. But
there is issues here as well, isn't it? You can already see that if you talk to Stephen Presley, and as much as we'll say it's positive, he's got a lot of ideas. That all these ideas been put onto the players in a kind of direct manner. It doesn't look like it now. I think that's the issue. And I think with Tony Dock, there's been a few accents over the years that are quite similar to this, where it's this yearning for more, this hunt for better, but better's what you already have is pretty good. And the one thing, I know they conceded a lot of goals under Tony Dock, but I always thought they were really competitive a lot of times in big games.
Yeah,
Celtic Rangers last, exactly. And it was the way those games played out. There's loads of chances, end to end. There's very few teams in the bottom 6 that have ever been able to play that way.
100%.
And it's one of those ones. But Stephen Presley, if you ask me personally, I'd love it to work out for him. But I think the mood music already is pretty concerning. Now we move. It's a year to the Commonwealth Games. Finny is our mascot, and now obviously 2014 it was a massive massive event for Glasgow. What are you most excited about? Obviously, it's a changed format, it's smaller, it's more reduced, but what are you most excited about Commonwealth Games? We're only a year away, it's come back to Glasgow. What should we be excited about?
Yeah, first of all, I can't believe it's been, well, by the time it's 2026 comes out, it'll be 12 years since I worked as a media liaison officer for, I think it was Glasgow Life and Work Experience. I remember...
You're not shining Tatty Marshall's bowling, but
that was part of the job, yeah. I remember the sun was absolutely, the weather was scorching. It was a beautiful summer that year. But I mean, we talk about Josh Taylor. For me, could we see another Scottish boxer emerge, follow his footsteps by winning gold? Don't know. These games often kind of serve as a launch pad to stardom, don't they? So that would be great to see somebody kind of emerge from the kind of amateur scene. Obviously, as well, Team Scotland, you obviously want to be backing them. And Aussie teen sensation Gout, as they call him. He's signalled his intention to represent Australia at the games as well. So, I mean, this kid's going to be an absolute superstar, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I think the superstar element matters, but just Glasgow needs it, doesn't it? Like, it's that feeling.
Yeah, the city needs it as well.
Yeah, it's just if you walk about and you see like there was something quite special at time as well. Just even to take you back to 2014 with the referendum and the horizon.
Yeah,
it was a very time and a place that you had to maybe things hopefully move in the right direction that might be recaptured again. I know there's some concerns about the reduced amount of games, but listen, as well, Glasgow obviously pushed to get it. I think they really want to put on something pretty special, and that's it as well. It's a whole city, isn't it? Like exactly, and I think hopefully we can get some fun. As you say, it will be superstar. It's about finding the next wave, and maybe Glasgow could be the launch pad for it as well.
Yeah.
So no, it should be very exciting.
Then there's the Bulls as well. I'm excited for that.
Can't beat the Bulls, honestly. You can't.
Is that our colleague Gavin Berry's favourite sport? So
he's playing that well. Then he tells me he could be a late player as well. Imagine that. So he could report and he could do his own match report as well if he can. He needs to keep pushing. I know he plays at Jordan Hill. I don't know if that's quite the level of Tatty Marshall and all these great players, but if he can, that'd be good as well, wouldn't it? You'd be, but I know it's exciting times, and the fact as well that Commonwealth Games, that they are in peril out with this. The fact that Australia couldn't feel they could host it, the fact that we've then Glasgow's come towards it. If we can make it a legacy games, then who knows at this rate we could have it every second goal by the looks of it, because it's just it's a massive thing for Scotland. So hopefully we can make it work, and it's pretty exciting as well. It's what it's all about. Yeah. So there we go, talking about legacies. Someone who's definitely sealed their legacy, Craig Gordon. If he gets himself fit and going again here, and ends the season as Hearts and Scotland's number one, could you imagine it? Could he be Scotland if they qualify for the World Cup? Could he be the Scotland's number one at the age of 43?
It's incredible. 43.
43?
He's Scotland's Buffon.
Incredible.
Isn't he? Scotland's Buffon.
That is.
I don't know. I think I'm going to be Grinch here. I just don't think that he's. I think Xander Clark's going to become Hearts number one this season.
Okay.
That's the nagging feeling I've got.
Do you think Tony Bloom might rustle up a number one from somewhere? Like, I'm being serious, because Xander Clark,
maybe in January.
He feels a keeper who's particularly solid, but again, we're talking about the new era. I'm not saying it's a Derek McInnes way, but a sweeper keeper still. You never know with that as well. That could even push Craig Gordon further down if it isn't.
The thing is, they're definitely going to have keepers on the short list, because Craig Gordon's not. This will be. I don't know what you think, Graeme. I think this is definitely going to be Craig Gordon's.
100%. Well, it's almost like
I feel bad saying this because it's testimonial tomorrow.
Exactly. Sorry, Craig. We'll put this clip out Sunday morning.
And he's much liked figure in media and industry as well, so I wish him all the best, and he's had a phenomenal career, and what he's to be playing at the level he is.
But the thing you're saying about Scotland as well is like that is the biggest worry. It's amazing the situation we are at national team, the goalkeepers. Kieran Slicker there, now fourth choice at Ipswich, is on the way out. I feel sorry for that boy. That was but Craig Gordon brings a reliability that you can't rule anything out. Like the thought, if Scotland make the World Cup, nothing's off the table. He'll be between the sticks unless someone emerges as a cast iron starter. But it's a position of weakness at present.
I mean, it would be some story if he's in between the sticks. Scotland, first of all, Scotland.
Well, that's probably that's the most fanciful part of this. Maybe the way we've been playing the last few months.
So let's hope they qualify first of all. But if Craig Gordon's between the sticks, and that's to be his final appearance of his career, playing for Scotland in the USA, it'd be absolutely phenomenal. I've just got a sneaky suspicion that I don't know. He's obviously had a couple of niggles. He's just recovering from a knock that curtailed last season for him. I've just got a feeling that, at his age, there's going to be a couple more niggles throughout the season. Zander Clark's determined to become the number one for Hearts and for Scotland. So
good point. He's right in the mix as well.
Yeah, he'll be equally determined to become Scotland's number one. So I think this could be Zander Clark's year. Okay,
and just to finish off, final question: Finley Curtis. I think Rangers fans were absolutely buzzing for him. 80 start, beat his score, and then when he spoke to the media after it, he seems like a proper cracking guy. Just the stories, mum and dad find out in tears when they find out he's in the team, and then in tears after he scored. Will he be it's obviously early, will he be a player who's just a feel-good story now and play games just now, then maybe, or can he make the grade at Rangers? Is he good enough? What would separate him from other young Rangers players who've made fleeting appearances, then moved on for whatever reason? Is Finley Curtis made different? Can he be a special player for Rangers?
I mean, Russell Martin certainly thinks so. He thinks he's got the character and the personality to be a Rangers player, and that's just as important as obviously having the talent. He's obviously made his mark, as we've discussed earlier, with that beauty of a goal against Panathinaikos in the Champions League stage as well.
It's template, isn't it, for a right-footed left winger,
exactly,
cutting inside.
The only thing is, you look at it down the years, you've got Ross McCausland's probably on his way out. He burst onto the scene, and
Finley Curtis seems a player of a higher grade than Ross McCausland. Would that be fair? Even if he can meet that, is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's early days, as we say. We've only seen a few glimpses of him, but he certainly looks to have something about him. You've got Greg, going further back, Greg Wild. He was exceptional. I remember that League Cup final against Celtic. He was brilliant as well. He helped Rangers win 3 in a row under Walter Smith. So you have got guys like this who have burst onto the scene and then kind of fell away. But I don't know. They're just the way Russell Martin speaks about him. I think that he's going to certainly. I think Curtis will certainly play a big part going forward for Rangers this season. And I think it's important that Rangers continue to talk about Scottish identity.
And you get Gassama on that side as well. That's
exactly.
So that there'll be plenty of
competition.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, Rangers have been crying out for wingers for God knows how long, and now look how there's so many of them now. But I think it's just even listening to his interview, like you say, talking about his mum and dad and how he couldn't sleep when he realised he'd be starting. It's like kind of boyhood dreams, isn't it? So it's great to see a young lad like that flourish, and hopefully this can be the start of a special kind of journey for him in his career.
Brilliant. I think I was talking there about how he was so polite and mannerly when he speaks to the media. He seems a lovely boy, but on the pitch, he was multiple times he's getting stuck in and grabbing the ball back, and I think that's what you need to make it at Rangers. It's the humbleness to be a nice lad and take the information on, but then when you're on the pitch, to have the personality to actually make it happen.
I mean, he had a difficult 45 minutes, but to bounce back in the second half and show the kind of.
I think he probably held his position well. And all that as well. Probably stuff that we don't. Onlookers that maybe Russell Martin maybe appreciate with the first half performance. But there you go, a good week for Finley Curtis and a good week for Scottish football and sport in general. So thank you very much for listening. This week's episode of Game On, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you like what you hear, and we hope you do, why not leave us a review or a comment? We'll be back again next week ahead of the start of the Scottish Premiership season. Thank you very much for joining us. Ryan, I've enjoyed that a lot, so see you all soon.
Cheers,